seventh graders from Sonora Middle School here in Springdale, the Sonora Spartans. That's their nickname. A little bit later, we'll have the eighth grade game between the Colts and Lakeside.
And if it sounds like we're in a booth, I mean literally a booth closet we are, there is no opening to put a crowd mic out, so it's going to sound weird tonight.
Woodland's going to get the ball first here on first down. 6-minute quarters tonight. The Colts with a run for about 5 yards out to the 35. Now, we'll explain this a little bit as best we can because of the difference in how the Springdale schools are set up versus the other schools in Northwest Arkansas. That's why you have two different schools tonight. Sonora feeds into Lakeside, but because the seventh graders are still in the middle school in Springdale, that's why Woodland's playing two schools with different names tonight. Run for a loss of a couple of yards there. It'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Colts. It's only that way against schools in Springdale. In the
not sure why they do it that way, but they're holding out.
3rd down here for the Colts. Braden Carroll is quarterback, by the way. He wears number 5. He'll throw on 3rd down. He's intercepted at the 43, and they may take this one back at the 30, the 25, and going to be taken down inside the 20-yard line, maybe at about the 19. Great job that time for Woodland by Landry Taylor of kind of turning him back inside toward the defense. Otherwise, he could have taken that one for a touchdown on the interception that time for the Spartans with Sawyer Harris.
Kind of fortunate the Sonora defender who intercepted that kind of had to pause and readjust his helmet. And allowed the Colts to get on him, so auspicious start for the Colts.
Similar to last week when we were in Rogers for the game against Oakdale, so many more players on the Woodland side of the field than for Sonora. Much greater depth for the Colts. But the Spartans are going to start here, first down from the Woodland 20-yard line. Clock is running inside of 4:05 to play in the first quarter. As we mentioned, these will be 6-minute quarters in the first game. And now Sonora is on the field. Run here for a gain of about 3, maybe 4 yards.
Well, Powell's still moving around. Well, they end up giving him, looks like 5 yards on that, Matt. Wow.
Whether Larice on the tackle that, I'm sorry, on the carry that time for Sonora. 5 yards out to the 15. It'll be 2nd down.
Pretty impressive job by the running back to hold on to that because there were a lot of hands grabbing at it.
The quarterback for Sonora is number 1. That's Abraham Ortiz. Larice is the running back. Stands to his right on 2nd down and 5. And now we've got movement on the offensive line, and this will be a false start against Sonora. That'll move the ball back 5 yards.
Pretty easy on that one. See that coming.
Penalty was on the right tackle, Samson James that time. Not a lot of people here for this first game. It's a pretty warm day. It's been more pleasant today than it has been for much of the last few weeks. Here's Larice on 2nd down across the 15 out to the 10. He's got first down yardage. It'll be 1st down and goal for Sonora. But if you're in the Woodland side of the field right now, whether it be a player or a parent sitting over there, you're just getting blasted by the sun for probably another 20 minutes or so before the big press box here begins to cast a shade over that side.
Yeah, enjoy the sunshine while it's here.
Went for a walk this morning. It was 52 degrees.
It was way chilly this morning when I walked the dogs.
1st down for Sonora from the 10-yard line. This is Larice again. Cuts up the middle, gets it to 5, still pushing forward, and finally taken back after a gain of 5. Several Colts in on the tackle that time. Looked like Luke Busker was the one who took him down at the end. And it's 2nd down and goal. Inside of 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. quick moving here in Springdale.
Took a lot of guys to bring him down. He's quite the load at running back.
Yeah, he really is. Of course, so much history inside this stadium. They'll move a man in motion here on second down, and now we've got a whistle and a timeout taken by Sonora with 1 minute and 35 seconds to play in the first quarter. Well, we mentioned this is probably one of the two most historic stadiums in this conference. The other one being back in Fayetteville at Harmon Field, which has been open for 95 years now. This is its 95th season at Harmon. Of course, they're about to get a big makeover there following this season. But a lot of great teams played here on this field in Springdale, named for the great Springdale coach, Gerald Williams. Won, I believe, 4 state championships with the Red Dogs. What was interesting to me, Blair, is that he did it over the course of many, many years. I think he won his first state championship in like 1968.
Yep.
And won his last somewhere around, what, 1999, 2000?
Yeah, won one in each of 4 decades. It was, and they were always in the mix. And the interesting thing about Coach Williams is it wasn't a lot of razzle-dazzle. It was, you know, the wing tee. There wasn't a lot to it, but it was just drilled precision where they didn't beat themselves, and it was just execution. Nothing fancy. Of course, that all changed when Gus Malzahn became the head coach here. It was a different style of ball than they were used to.
Second goal here for Sonora. They're at the Woodland 5-yard line. Ortiz is the quarterback, gives it to the running back, Larice, cuts up the middle, and he's in. Touchdown for the Spartans. Well, he's a load to bring down. 5-yard touchdown that time for Larice, and he accounted for all the yards on that drive for the Spartans.
A big back who just kept those feet moving, and Colts just couldn't wrap him up. I mean, he kind of like Le'Veon Bell, sort of. I mean, it's way early to compare him to that, but he gets going. You just can't slow him down.
2-point try upcoming. Ortiz with Larice standing next to him. And they'll give it to him again, and he'll run into the end zone again. The 2-point try is good. And so, with 1 minute 17, the clock continues to run. They'll stop it at 1 minute 16. Minute 16 to play in the first quarter. The score is Sonora 8, Woodland nothing. This is Woodland Colt football. Minute 16 to play in the first quarter, and we're back in Springdale where the Colts trail 8-0 in this 7th grade game. Woodland's offense comes back out on the field. It's a low snap, going to be taken off the turf, and a run back toward the line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of a yard that time by Lawson McClure, the quarterback. We saw this last week. Woodland will rotate their quarterbacks. McClure getting the second possession snaps after Braden Carroll got the snaps to begin the game. They give him progress back to the line of scrimmage at 2nd down and 10. McClure this time turns around, gives it to the running back, bounce it outside at the 35, the 40, and there he goes at midfield. The 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, and that's a 70-yard touchdown for the Colts. Landry Taylor, who had the big week a week ago, and he's off to a great start again here. 70-yard touchdown on his first carry of the game.
Wow. Quite a contrast from the first play, which looked like it was a busted play, but Man, I mean, he had clear sailing the whole way. The line blew open the hole, and he went untouched.
He had 2 or 3 real big runs a week ago up in Rogers. Here comes the 2-point try. McClure is the quarterback. Taylor is standing behind him. This is to tie the game. They give it to, well, no, they blow the play dead. There's a flag on the play, and the indication is that it's against Sonora. It is. It's an offsides penalty against the Spartans. And so that'll move Woodland about a yard and a half closer to the goal line.
Pretty big yard and a half to gain there. Let's see if the Colts can take advantage.
So now from the 1 on this 2-point try, McClure turns around, gives it to Taylor, bounces across a couple of tackles, and then it gets in. How about that?
Then got wrapped up in the end zone and was able to shed that tackle as well. 5 Spartans tried to wrap him up and couldn't do it.
18 seconds to play in the first quarter. The new score, Woodland 8, Sonora 8. This is Woodland Colt football. Back at Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium, 18 seconds to play in the first quarter. Woodland and Sonora are tied at 8 apiece. Well, Thursday night football, week 2 of the junior high season.
Like we have a shootout tonight.
Good. Although I think with the way Sonora kind of runs a power offense, there may not be a whole lot of points. And they started the clock before that snap, and so that's going to be the end of the first quarter.
Wow.
Right,
Okay.
6 minutes are in the books. And Woodland and Sonora are tied 8-8. We'll be back in just a second. Woodland Colt football. All right, we're back at Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium, getting ready for the start of the second quarter in the 7th grade game between Woodland and Sonora. The Spartans are getting ready to start 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. This is following a 70-yard touchdown run by Landry Taylor and a 2-point conversion that tied the game at 8 apiece.
Oh, well, now they're going to put 8 on the clock? Yeah, now they're going to put 8 on the clock after playing a 6-minute quarter.
Well, you never know what you're going to get. On first down, they'll run a shuffle pass across the 35, the 40, first down yardage out to the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 14 on the play, and that was Carlos Hernandez on the reception.
Braden Carroll, the one knocking him out of bounds. Good clean hit on the sideline. Well, we saw somebody else for the first time carry the ball for Sonora.
First and 10 here for the Spartans from the 44-yard line. And this time they'll run it across the 45 out near midfield, a gain of about 4. On the carry that time for the Spartans was Kenny Keaty. And it'll be second down and 5.
Micah McElroy among those getting the tackle. Sonora kind of owning the line of scrimmage, but the Colts with just a 3-man front. Sonora's got some size, though, for 7th graders. No question about that.
On second down, Sonora needs to get to the Woodland 46-yard line. And they'll give it across midfield. First down yardage at the 45. Bounces off. There are flags on the play across the 30, the 20, the 10. If it stands, it'll be a 51-yard touchdown, but the indication is that it's going to be against Sonora, and it's a hold against the Spartans, so that'll negate that 51-yard touchdown run, and he's been really impressive tonight. Wilder Larice.
Very impressive, and a break for the Colts, because I don't know that hold really mattered in the play. He just takes off and just bowls people over. It's a name to file in the memory bank.
Yeah, it is. We'll mark him back. About 9 yards to the 40-yard line, so it'll be second down and long from there. Second down and 14, as the Spartans still need to get to the Woodland 46.
Well, they've yet to attempt a pass.
They bring in a new running back here. That's Keaty. And they'll give it to him running left side across the 40, the 45, midfield. He's got the first down yardage and more inside the 45 of Woodland and out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
Boy, that's a break for the Colts. I don't know that he stepped out.
18-yard carry that time for Keaty.
We'll take it, though. But they're just running power left and right, man.
Yeah. What was a fast-moving first quarter has stalled pretty significantly here in the second. Of course, they added a couple of minutes onto the clock. We played a 6-minute first quarter. It's an 8-minute second quarter. I don't know if that means we're going to get 6 or 8-minute quarters in the second half. But we're only 51 seconds into the second quarter. And now there's a flag on the play before the snap. And it's going to be a delay of game against Sonora. And Larice, the running back, lost his mouthpiece and had to reach down and pick it up, and that might have been the cause for the delay penalty.
Yeah, I think so. I was kind of surprised the officials didn't stop it from I don't know if they're supposed to or not from a safety standpoint.
First and 15 here from the 47 of Woodland. This is Larice across the 45, the 40, and there he goes at the 35, the 30. He's at the 20, the 15, the 10, and this one's going to count. A 47-yard touchdown run for Wilder Larice, coming just moments after he has a 51-yarder wiped off the board. And he's already nearing 100 yards tonight. That's his second touchdown run. And now the Spartans will go for 2. This is a much more difficult matchup tonight for Woodland than what they saw a week ago in Rogers with Oakdale.
No question about it. And a big, strong running back like that, and I'll give you 2 guesses where the ball's going now.
Ortiz is the quarterback. There's a flag on the play. Larice is going to take it left side. He runs it in, but we've got to see what the flag is. It's an illegal shift, and so this is not going to count.
Yep. Too many men in motion. Both running backs went in motion at the same time. Well, it could be a case of just how much stamina does that young man have, because he's gonna tote the rock quite a bit tonight.
It's a warm night. It's even warmer down there on the turf.
Yes. And if you're going to start to stop the Spartans, you're going to have to stop number 32.
So they're going to move it back to about the 8-yard line, and they'll try for 2 again from there. Ortiz, the quarterback, he wears number 1. Larice is his running back at number 32. They're going to throw it. Ortiz looking to his right. The pass is caught, and the 2-point conversion is good. That was Nathan Kumtak on the catch. And with 6:45 to play before halftime, the new score is Sonora 16, Woodland 8. This is Woodland Colt football. Back in Springdale, 6:45 and counting before halftime. Woodland trails Sonora 16-8.
I don't know if we have enough men on the field right now.
Certainly not
It's
enough
just 9,
offensive
isn't it?
linemen, yeah.
It's still, I think there's still one short, aren't they?
The play clock's not running, and the game clock has run about 30 seconds off. This is Carroll, the quarterback again, gives it, and it's going to be a loss of a couple of yards back to the 28-yard line. That was Joseph Carey that time with the run. He scored a touchdown a week ago. It'll be 2nd down and 12.
Yeah, they still just have 10. There we go. There's the 11th.
You're probably not going to get a lot of yards if you're only playing with 4 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
They were late running 2 of them onto the field for the last play. 2nd down. They need to get to the 40-yard line. Carroll will give it to Carey again. He'll get the lost yardage back plus a yard out to the 31. It'll be 3rd down and long.
Colt offense just having a little trouble getting going tonight. Much bigger and more physical matchup tonight than what we had last week.
From the 31-yard line, the Colts need to get to the 40. Under 5 minutes to play before halftime. Carroll will move Carey in motion to his right, and a flag comes in before the snap. And it is an offsides penalty against Sonora, so that'll help Woodland out. It'll move the ball up to the 36, and it'll make it a 3rd down and 4.
Much more manageable.
Carroll in the shotgun on 3rd down, runs to his left, and he fumbles the ball. It's on the turf. Who got it?
I think Woodland's got it back.
Woodland got it back at the 29-yard line. The Spartans read that play perfectly.
McElroy was Johnny on the spot, and we've got a player shaking down for Sonora. And they're calling for the coaches to come out and check on him. And
they'll send the players off the field, and we'll take a quick break. 4:16 to play before halftime. Woodland trails 16-8. This is Woodland Colt football. Injured Sonora player walking off the field. That is Kenny Keaty. Had a nice run for them on their last offensive possession. It's 4th down for Woodland, and you expect the Colts will, quote, punt the ball away here. There's no punting in 7th grade, but they can opt to give the ball over to the other side, and it'd be a 30-yard flip of the field, which would put the ball at about the 41-yard line. Still no indication yet from Woodland what they're going to do. It would be 4th down and 11. And now they give the call, and it'll be Sonora ball back on the Spartan side of the field at the 41. Clock stops while they change ends of the field. There's 3:51 to play before halftime.
I'm going to stop Mr. 32. I would imagine we will see a big dose of him. Well, the press box casts an odd shadow on the field, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does. You know, the sun at this time of the year starts to drift a little bit more to, what would that be, the southwest?
Yeah.
Obviously the west, but yeah, toward the south. And so you get more oblong shadows this time of year.
Of course, this is one of the highest points in town.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, you look across.
Yeah.
The hospital might be just a skosh taller, but yeah, there's not much of a skyline in Springdale. Unlike Fayetteville, which has the iconic skyline on the hill.
Fayetteville's got some more hills, too.
Yes.
1st down for Sonora from the 41-yard line. Ortiz, the quarterback. And they'll flip it forward. This little pass across the 45 to midfield, cuts back up across the 40, and there he goes at the 30. The 25 of Woodland, the 20. Stays in bounds at the 10, and he's going to score. Touchdown.
No, stepped out at the 25.
Okay. Now they're going to say he was, boy, sure looked to me like he stayed in bounds, player.
Yeah.
Still a big gain that time, 34 yards by Carlos Hernandez. That's the second time we've seen them run that play with him. And Sonora's knocking on the door of the red zone with 3:18 to play before halftime.
One of the coaches came over to the side judge and said, "You sure about that?" I said, "Yep, right here." Saw him step on the white. So that's a break for the Colts.
I was watching him go down the sideline. It sure looked like he was able to stay in, but
it was close.
I'll trust they've got a better view than I do.
We've got a pretty good view up here.
1st down from the 25. Woodland in a little bit of trouble, and now they've got a player running off the field late. Do they take a timeout?
No.
The play is, the Woodland coaches are saying, what's going on?
Yeah.
This is going to be a touchdown for Sonora. The Woodland coaches are livid because I think they thought they had a timeout called.
Yeah.
And none of Woodland's players moved when the ball was snapped.
Yeah, Coach Crockett's wanting an explanation from the side judge in front of the Woodland bench. And I don't think he's happy with that.
If that play is allowed to stand, that's a 25-yard touchdown run for Larice on a play that I think Woodland thought wasn't going to count.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are not happy about that.
Yeah, the Colts weren't in position for that. It looked like Sonora had a couple guys move before the snap, but it was just a weird play. Well, I don't know what.
Now
they are going to give him the timeout.
Are they going to grant the timeout?
I believe so. That was the signal. And now the
what we don't know is, are they granting the timeout?
Yeah, where are they going to spot
to nullify that play, or is this a timeout between?
Well,
they've got the ball back at the 25-yard line.
And now the Sonora coach wants to know exactly what's going on.
So inside the stadium, the points are on the scoreboard. But I think they're going to make them take it off and move the ball back to the 25-yard line. Very odd sequence there. Woodland had to run a player off the field, and what I think they were doing, they were taking a timeout to avoid an illegal substitution, too many players on the field penalty.
Well,
and it
plus
looks like it was granted. Now again, the scoreboard here in the stadium is not correct, but the score on the screen I think is 16-8 is the score. And it will be first down and 10 for Sonora from the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and he wasn't coming off very quickly, which is another reason why they needed to take that timeout. And, yeah, the official was like, yeah, no, they had called timeout, but it wasn't properly signaled. So, side judge is giving Coach Crockett another explanation. I think we're good.
All right, ready to play again. First down from the 25. Ortiz will give it to Larice. This is the back who scored 2 touchdowns and just had one called off. He's going to get this one at the 10, the 5, and he's in for a 25-yard touchdown. And Woodland just can't seem to find an answer for him right now.
I don't know if very many teams this year are going to be able to find an answer for that young man.
He's got to be right at 100 yards. I mean, he ran for
at
all
least
20 down here on this side of the field, had a 47-yard touchdown run. That one was from 25. And now they're going to try to convert their third 2-point conversion of the half. Ortiz in the shotgun. 3 minutes to play before halftime. And now move it back onto the left side. They'll give it to Larice again, running right side, and he just runs in. He wasn't touched until he got into the end zone. He has been a load to handle tonight for Woodland. 2:55 to play before halftime, and the new score is Sonora 24, Woodland 8. This is Woodland Colt football. .45 to play before halftime. Woodland trails Sonora 24-8. The Colts, who had the big win a week ago in Rogers over Oakdale, really struggling to control the Sonora run game and struggling to get anything going of their own. That time, Carey with the run, a loss of 3 back to the 27-yard line.
That was a busted play. Quarterback and running back weren't on the same page that time, Matt.
We're seeing Sonora get a lot of really good push up along the line of scrimmage. And so there's not as much time for those blocks to develop for these backs as there was a week ago. Clock continues to run, 2 minutes to play before halftime. 2nd and 13 here for the Colts. Carey runs right into a wall of defenders again. Goes down for no gain at the 27. And it'll be 3rd down and 13 for the Colts. There's just nowhere to run for these backs right now, at least not up the middle.
No, Sonora is just clogging the line of scrimmage.
The Colts have got to get to their own 40-yard line. Here on 3rd and 13. McClure is the quarterback, turns around, gives it to his running back. It's on the turf. Who's got it? They're going to say Woodland was able to come up with it back at the 26-yard line. Now the Colts are going to have to get the ball away, and Sonora is going to take a timeout to stop the clock with 1:08 to go.
William Woodruff is the one who recovered it. Just got to it before 3 Spartans jumped on him trying to get it.
This has been a rough half for the Colts. Well, you know what? Now they're going to start the clock back up. I don't know if Sonora took a timeout or not, Blair. Now we hit 1 minute to play in the half. And Woodland, you know what they did? They never started the play clock.
Have the play clocks worked tonight?
Well, I know there was a delay of game on at least one play. All right, so Woodland's going to punt the ball away, and Sonora's going to get it near midfield with under 1 minute to play. There's 50 seconds on the clock, and the clock should start moving again before the first snap.
Well, I think it's going to be a surprise what Sonora's going to do. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to put it in number 32's hands and force the Colts to stop him, which has not been easy to do.
I will tell you that I think they've marked the ball incorrectly. I think it ought to be up closer to about the 45 based on where Woodland was. So that's a benefit to the Colts. So Sonora will start from its own 41. The clock begins again. 45 seconds to play in the half. Ortiz with Reese next to him. That ball is bobbled. It's on the turf. Woodland had a pretty good chance at it, and they say they've got it.
They do.
And they do. It's going to be Woodland ball at the 38-yard line with 38 seconds to play. We've seen a couple of times tonight where Sonora's had some trouble handling the snaps, but that was the first time that it's really hurt the Spartans.
Logan Farber was the man who came up with the recovery, and the handoff was just never clean. It was coming out of the quarterback's hand as he turned to the running back.
I'm not sure he ever had it off the snap.
No.
All right, so now there's 2 timeouts left for Woodland. The Colts have got 38 seconds to do something here. We have not seen Landry Taylor in the game since he broke off that big 70-yard touchdown run on his first carry. I wonder if you might see him here.
Be a good time to turn him loose.
They're running quickly out to the huddle. Carey is going to be the running back behind McClure, the quarterback. From the 38-yard line, the clock has started. There's 10 seconds to play.
Holy cow.
That's going to be the last play of the half. McClure runs right, and he's going to be sacked back at the 44-yard line. And that's the way the half ends. Woodland trailing Sonora 24-8. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with the second half in a few minutes. This is Woodland Colt football.
All right, we're just about ready to start the second half. It will be Sonora football from their own 30. We finally got a crowd mic hooked up, so we really are at the football game. Ambient sound is such a huge part of the experience. Well, who else? But number 32 gets the ball, and they've got him tied up. Oh, no, he gets loose. He's still going forward, but they hold him to, and I say they hold him to 7 yards on the carry, which is progress because everything else has been long yardage. So that'll bring up second down. Well, his last 3 carries resulted in touchdowns, so that is progress, and that is obviously signs of an adjustment Woodland has made to stop big number 32. Brings up second down, and let's call that 4. Or no, it's actually 3. Yeah, it's 7-yard gain, so that'd be 3. They'll give it to 32 again. Here come the Colts trying to corral him at the 40, and he just manages to fall across. And they're probably going to give him the 41. That will be a first down, well, just inside the 41. But it's enough for a first down for the Spartans. I think our man at the controls, Braxton Boleen and Brooks Cartwright running camera. We appreciate their help in making these broadcasts possible. 32 with the handoff again, going to the left side. Shakes off one tackle and then meets a gang of Colts at the 50, and they send him sprawling to the turf. And he's a little slow getting up. Now he's up. And a little while, yeah, they're going to let him sit out for a minute. He got rocked pretty good. The trainer's going to check on him, just make sure he's okay. He seems okay. But it's enough for another first down for the Spartans. And now the official on the far side has come in and asked for time. And now you see the officials huddle up. And I'm not sure why we're having a stoppage in play right here. 5:50 to go, third quarter, 24-8, Sonora in front. And really no idea what the stoppage is. Well, now well, they flipped the yard marker to second down. I don't think that's right, is it? No, either way. 2nd and 5. Well, Matt, they stopped him. They held him to a 7-yard run. Yeah, I don't know why this is second down. That's interesting tonight. Carlos Hernandez with the carry, picks up, well, maybe loses one. Again, it's showing third down. Even the PA announcer's a little befuddled by this. But hey, it's favoring the Colts, so we'll gladly take it. 3rd down and 7. They go to the air and great coverage. Great coverage by Javian Strickland, who wrapped up the intended receiver right as he caught the ball, and they're going to lose 2 yards on that.
I think that's the first time that Woodland's going to get Sonora off the field tonight.
Yeah. First time Sonora's attempted a, well, no, they attempted a pass earlier, didn't they?
They've thrown those little push passes, and
Yeah.
I think they ran one little rollout pass, but not very many. They haven't had to very often. They just turned around and given it to those running backs and been able to get good yardage.
Yeah, 32's down there on the sidelines. He looks okay, but 4th and long, and then you would assume that the Spartans are going to punt here. And there's the official word. I still think Sonora got shorted it down, but oh well. So the Colts will take over at their own. Yeah, I don't know that they're getting the punt yardage correct. Is that
to
right?
it at the 23-yard line. I think it's.
Is that right?
I think so. About 30 yards from
Okay.
where they were.
You're much better at that ciphering than I am.
The Lakeside players are walking in for the 8th grade game over on the far side of the field.
Yeah.
Might be able to see them in our camera shot. I'm not sure back there behind those white fences. Kind of I've always thought one of the defining characteristics of the games here in Springdale, or of the stadium, has always been that white fence around the field. Of course, now it's kind of a cheaply made white fence. I mean, those old ones were real wooden white
wood.
fences. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit different now. You're not going to get a splinter on these.
No, kids would hang all over those old wooden ones.
First down for Woodland from the 23-yard line. Carroll is the running back. He gives it to Taylor. And look at this. Across the 30, the 35, and there he goes at 40. Midfield, the 40, the 30, the 20. And he's going to have 2 touchdowns tonight on 2 runs.
Wow.
That's a 77-yard touchdown for Landry Taylor. He had a 70-yarder earlier. You talk about a change of pace back. 2 runs, 2 70-plus yard touchdowns. And with 3:50 to go in the third quarter, Woodland's back within 24-14.
The line just cleared an opening, let him get around the end, and boom, he was gone. He did the rest, and there was nobody within 10 yards of him the last 30 or 40. He just motored.
Talk about players to keep an eye on. That's one that you'll be watching probably in a few years, at least from a high school perspective. Taylor stands behind Carroll here on the 2-point try, and he's not going to get away. Hit pretty hard and taken down.
Yeah,
by Kenny Keedy. Good to see him back up and playing. He was the one who came off injured a moment ago.
Yeah, that initial hit kind of threw him off balance, and then the second player came in and rocked him pretty good.
Yep.
So
3:40 to play, third quarter. Woodland trails Sonora 24-14. This is Woodland Colt football. Woodland trails Sonora 24-14. Very interesting score, too, because finish that thought after the first down play. Ortiz gives it for running left side. We'll get some positive yardage out of this, out to the 35-yard line. That's Keedy on the run. And it'll be second down and 5. McCoy Carter on the tackle that time for Woodland. You know, you think about this from a high school perspective. These two teams obviously feed into Springdale and Fayetteville high schools. The games between the Battle of the Bulldogs have not been close recently. And you start to look for, you know, kind of signs for what might be coming. And you look here in the 7th grade and 8th grade and the 9th grade games, and you get a competitive game like this between a couple of programs that feed into Springdale and Fayetteville, and it's certainly noteworthy.
Definitely, definitely.
Ortiz turns around, gives it on second down, near first down yardage out to the 40-yard line. He'll have the first down. That was Carlos Hernandez again. Wholesale substitution almost here for Woodland. They bring about 7 new players onto the field.
Yep, Landry Taylor with the tackle. Haven't seen Mr. LeBlanc tonight.
I saw him earlier. He's going to play 8th grade. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he was down there with the 7th graders, and then when the 8th graders came and took their seat over there in the visitor bleachers, he went up and sat with them.
Okay, understandable.
Didn't have, yeah, you know, he played so well last week.
Oh my gosh, it was a one-man gang.
I think he might have played better in the 8th grade game than he did in the 7th grade game.
Yeah, and he played really well in the 7th grade game.
Ortiz gives it to Hernandez again, bounces outside, gets 4, maybe 5 yards out near the 45, and it seems like every time that Sonora runs the ball, they're getting halfway or more toward the first down marker, and as the game wears on and your players get a little bit more tired, and Woodland players are just going to have to dig in here and really find something. They could use a turnover.
Yes,
that'd help.
They could. Strickland with the nice shoestring tackle last time.
Ortiz in the shotgun, minute 20 to play in the 3rd quarter. Give it again, Hernandez again, and near first down yardage out to the 49 of Sonora. And they're going to be a yard shy. It'll be 3rd down and 1. 5 new Woodland players run on here for this 3rd down play.
Weissmiller with the initial stop. Boy, they're pulling the guard, and the running back's just following the guard.
Another late substitution here for Woodland. So another late substitution. I mean, they're going to have 7 new players on the field for this play.
Make it 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Got to hurry. Got to get off.
All right, 3rd and 1. Sonora needs to get to midfield to convert the first down. They give it to Hernandez. He runs into a wall of defenders but falls forward onto the Woodland side of the field. A couple of yard gain from the 49 to the other 49. And with 26 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, Spartans have into the first down.
Tidwell and Phillips on the stop. And they just pull that guard. It's real simple. Guard pulls, clears the hole. The running back has some support from the other running back, and away they go.
There's just 5 seconds on the clock. They're not going to get another playoff before the end of the quarter. And the 3rd quarter is going to end with Sonora holding on to a 24-14 lead. And they'll have a first down on the Woodland side of the field when the 4th quarter begins. This is Woodland Colt football. Back in Springdale as we get ready to start the 4th quarter. Woodland trails Sonora 24-14. Long shadows are starting to cast across the field here. Lights are on. On first down, here's Larice, the running back who's had such a big game, runs into the defensive line. One of his shorter gains of the night. It's a gain of 2 out to the 47. On the tackle that time was Leighton Sheffield. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
McElroy in on that as well. They were ready for it that time.
Big drive here for Woodland if they're going to win the game. They've got to get a stop and get the ball back. The clock is not their friend, especially not with the way the 7th grade clock rules.
Yeah, 8 minutes to start the quarter.
Well, just 8 minutes, and there's a lot of running clock,
Yes.
too, in places. And there's a false start against Sonora. It's going to get against the right guard, and that'll move the Spartans back on their side of the field, and it'll be 2nd down and long.
That'll be a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, probably get one of those Owasso clocks. If you were with us last Friday, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Be a passing situation here for Sonora. No,
Oh.
They'll give it to Larice. Bounces outside, stiff arm. Look at this. Across the 45, the 40, and now he turns on the speed at the 25, cuts back inside at the 20.
Loose
The
ball.
ball came out, and Woodland's got it at the 10.
McCoy Carter.
When he was tiptoeing down the sideline, he kind of held the ball out. And good job by the Colts to poke it free, and there's the turnover they needed with 6:44 to go.
He initially bobbled it, too, in the backfield after he got the handoff. But then corralled it and made his way through. So, well, there's the first part of the equation for the Colts to get back into this thing. Now they need a big run. And we've seen a couple of those already.
They got to take it 90 yards. They need to score 2 times here, too, because they're down by 10.
Well, what, got to get to the 30, then they're in Taylor's one-play range? The way he's gone tonight with a couple 70-plus.
Not sure they're not within his range right now, but he's not on the field. Carey is the running back for the Colts. Carroll's the quarterback. They bring Taylor in motion out of the receiver set. He runs right side, now up the middle, cuts back across the field, and here we go. He's at the 20, the 30. Can they catch him? He's at midfield. One man to beat at the 40. He's gone at the 30, the 20, the 10. 3 carries, 3 long touchdowns tonight
How about
for
that?
Landry Taylor. That one 90 yards.
Wow.
Touchdown runs tonight of 90, 77, and 70 yards.
We've got a Sonora player shaking up back at their own 12, or at the Woodland 12. You hate to see that, but man, what a run by Taylor.
They hit him that time. I didn't know he was on the field, Blair. They had him at receiver. They ran a little jet sweep with him.
Deception. Very nicely designed play.
He's averaging a modest 79 yards a carry tonight. Yeah, now they're back in it. I mean, they're right back in it. 6:12 to play, and it's 24-20. They'll get a 2-point try here as they tend to the Sonora injured player. That's Hernandez.
He's back up, so that's good.
He's the receiver who has made a few nice plays tonight. I think he had the interception, too, in the first quarter on Woodland's first drive.
Get this too. It's a 2-point ball game.
Well, either way, they're back within the 1-score range, which is where they needed to get to.
Could very well come down to who has the ball last.
Again, the clock's not really their friend. You know, it's running right here on the 2-point try, and they're still
Why?
over there.
Why is it running?
I think it's just 7th grade rules. I think
That's
they're
crazy.
I think they're different than.
They're very different from what we're normal. Wow.
Clock runs inside of 5:50 to play now in the fourth quarter. Well, they actually stop it at 5:51.
This is just nuts.
Yeah, I don't have any explanation for the clock. Carroll, with 3 receivers to his right, looking left all the way, and that pass is incomplete outside the catch range of Blake Johnson. Johnson got his hands on it, just couldn't pull it in.
And another second ran off the clock, I think.
Yeah, 6 more seconds. So 5:45 to play in the fourth quarter. The new score is Sonora 24, Woodland 20. This is Woodland Colt football. And Woodland trails Sonora 24-20.
They're going to wind it now.
Yep, wind the clock. 5:40 and counting to go. Woodland's got all of its timeouts, and
Well, now the play clock has 25, but it's not moving.
on first down, Larice is going to run it right side. Now tries to cut back across the field. Johnson brings him down from behind.
How about that?
Nice pursuit that time. Gain of a yard out to the 31. It'll be second down and 9. Clock runs, 5:07 to go.
Outstanding job.
That was Blake Johnson who just had the 2-point try go beyond his fingertips.
Yeah,
Now, if you're Woodland, you start taking timeouts.
Second down.
yeah, the back judge is keeping the play clock.
Blair might say with the clock even stop on a timeout. It's been very. We are befuddled about the clock situation here. Larice
Oh, they had him.
bounces off a tackle and then falls forward for about 7 out to the 38. It'll be 3rd and short from there. 5 new Woodland defenders will run on for this 4th down play.
Looks to be
3rd down play, I'm sorry. 3rd down and 2 from the 38.
and 2.
Clock continues to run. 4:16 to go.
3rd and 2.
Woodland trailed 24-8 at halftime. They have gotten back into it. The help of a turnover and a couple of really big runs by Landry Taylor.
Oh, they got to run somebody on real quick. Oh, now he's going off. What is going on?
They got too many players on the field, and Sonora bails them out with a timeout.
Did they stop the clock?
They had 12 on the field, and Sonora, I guess, was having some issues as well. I was focused on what was happening with the substitutions on Woodland's side of the field. 3:52 to go.
So that's a break for the Colts. Clock's still stopped for now. A huge 3rd and 2.
The Woodland 8th graders are in the north end zone here, warming up. The Lakeside 8th graders are over in the south end zone. They're not doing anything,
Nope.
just kind of watching
They're
right now.
hanging out.
We got 10 minutes between the games. So stick around for the 8th grade game. Woodland beat up on Oakdale a week ago. Really in both of these games. The 7th grade game was closer than the 8th grade game, but both of them were pretty lopsided scores. Clock now begins to run after the timeout. 3:47 to go and counting. 3rd down and 2 for Lakeside,
Wait.
and now there's a whistle.
What?
The umpire is.
That's just bizarre.
Yeah.
They just burned 5 seconds for no reason.
The play clock is not running either. 3rd down. They give it to Larice. Woodland gets some pressure, but they're not going to get him in the backfield. He gets across the 40 out to the 43-yard line. Big play there. Gain of 5 and fresh set of downs for Sonora.
Had a couple cracks at him and just couldn't quite get him down.
Spartan ball.
Now, if you're Sonora, you start really taking time off the clock, and if you're Woodland, you're really hoping for a turnover. There have been a couple tonight. Poor snaps or poor exchanges, but
Can't take
You need
anything
one
for
here.
granted.
3:02 to go. Colts trail 24-20. They still got all 3 timeouts left. And there's a whistle before the
False
snap.
start.
And it's a false start against the Spartans, so that'll move them back 5 yards. It'll be first down and 15 from the Sonora 38.
Penalty.
Well, thankfully they stopped the clock pretty quick, so 3 timeouts left. Yeah, there's still. Well, of course, now they start the clock again. Yeah, the play clock I don't think has ever moved tonight.
From the 38-yard line, first and 15 for the Spartans. Ortiz is the quarterback. Turns around, gives it to Hernandez. Hernandez gets the lost yardage back and then some out across the 45 to the 47-yard line. And it'll be second down and 5 after a gain of 10. Clock continues to run, 2:13. Big play here for Woodland.
Coach is telling them try to strip the ball out if you can.
And if you can get the ball, all you got to do is potentially give it to Landry Taylor one time.
Yes. Get it out, fall on it. Just possess it.
7.
It'll actually be second down and 7. They moved the ball back to the 46-yard line, so it was an 8-yard gain for Hernandez. Ortiz, the quarterback, turns around, gives it to Hernandez again, and this time Woodland reads it well. He's going to take him down in the backfield. The first player there was Nash Weissmiller, and now we've got a timeout.
Well, they didn't stop it, did they?
The clock is stopped now at 1:24. The side judge came in and motioned as a timeout for Sonora, but now they correct themselves. It was a Woodland timeout, the Colts' first timeout taken of the second half.
So it should be 1:27 on the clock, but
It will be second down. No, third down. They've gotten second down on the yard marker across the field, but this should be third down.
yeah.
It'll be third down and 7 yards to go. Sonora needs to get to the Woodland 47-yard line. They still have not changed that yard marker. Now they're motioning across the field, telling them that it is third down.
He's not paying attention.
There
There
it
we
is.
go.
Third down.
Third down and 7. Big play here. Can the Colts hold? Sonora needs to get to the Woodland 47, and now we've got a whistle. And the clock began running. The clock began running. And the Woodland sideline was all up in arms about it. And yeah, Coach Crockett just kind of has his hands out like, what do we do?
Yeah.
And they're not going to get those 5 seconds back either.
Jeez.
Minute 19 to go. Third down. We'll give it to Larice, running right side.
Oh, my,
Hit from
they got him.
behind. Weissmiller got him. Falls forward for a couple of yards out to the 48. And Woodland's not taking a timeout here.
Larice.
104, 103. We're going to hit a minute to go. Woodland's going to get the ball. I'm a little surprised they're not taking a timeout.
Yeah.
And
Well,
also, how do you know when the clock stops? Because the play clocks aren't.
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and they still show who knows how many timeouts they have left. They're barely keeping anything.
I think Woodland has 2 timeouts remaining.
Okay. So are they saving them for offense then?
I guess so. They'll blow the clock dead at 37 seconds. Woodland will get the ball back 30 yards down the field, so that'll give them the ball at the 23-yard line.
But they'll need to be ready to go pretty quick because they'll start this clock as soon as they
Absolutely
get
will.
down there.
We saw that at the end of the first half. very similar situation. I think there was about 40 seconds left, and you look at the clock, and all of a sudden it's 10 seconds before they get the snap off.
Yeah, so this will be interesting. Do they hold it because Woodland's going to be ready to go? And I don't know if Sonora's in place.
Where is Landry Taylor? That's the question. Looks like he's lined up to the left in the slot. And the clock starts. This looks like McClure is the quarterback. They'll bring Taylor in motion. You know he's going to get it.
Yep.
Runs right side across the 25. He's got some room at the 30. Cuts back across his field at the 35. He fumbled the ball, and Sonora falls on it, and that's how the game is going to end. Oh, man.
What a tough break.
Landry Taylor gained 16 yards, but he lost the ball trying to get more. And on a night when he really carried the Woodland offense, it's going to be a turnover by him that's going to end this game. And Sonora doesn't even have to take another snap. Clock is running, 13 seconds to go. And Sonora is going to beat Woodland tonight, 24-20. And the 7th grade Colts are going to fall to 1-1. Well, you hate to see it there for Landry Taylor because he had such a brilliant game tonight. He's going to finish with 253 rushing yards.
Wow.
3 touchdowns, but also the fumble.
It breaks like that sometimes. It just came out of his hand right under the Lakeside player.
The 2 big plays tonight were the I mean, you can go back to more than 2, but really the 2 that made the biggest difference on the scoreboard were that Sonora stopped Woodland twice on 2-point conversions, and Sonora went 3 for 3 on its 2-point tries. All right, there's going to be 15 minutes between the end of that game and the start of our 8th grade game. The Woodland 8th graders are out in their white jerseys and blue pants and white helmets. The Lakeside 8th graders are out in their red jerseys and white helmets, and they'll get stretched and warm up, and we'll be back in about 13 minutes for the start of that game between Woodland and Lakeside 8th grade from Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium.
will receive. Woodland will defend the end zone to your left as you look at the screen. (42-8). The Colts were victorious last week at Oakdale. And Lakeside comes in off a 46-0 loss at Elmwood last week. That would lead one to expect maybe some fireworks from the Woodland offense tonight, but we'll have to wait as the defense will take the field first. 7th grade game. Sonora victorious over Woodland 24-20. And we'll have to see if we have any interesting clock operation again.
And if you weren't with us for the 7th grade game, we mentioned at the outset that the way that Springdale has their schools formatted, I guess for lack of a better word, is while you have two different teams. You have Sonora Middle School that feeds into Lakeside Junior High. They're the only school in the district where the 7th graders are at a middle school instead of a junior high.
Number 17.
All right, Lakeside will start at the 32-yard line.
Falls on the ball at the 31-yard line. Golden Eagles set up 1st and 10.
The Golden Eagles wearing their red jerseys, red pants with yellow numbers, white helmets. Woodland out in its white jerseys, blue pants, blue numbers, and those white helmets with the blue W on the side.
They're trying to get the chain gang lined up on the far side.
Woodland won big a week ago over Oakdale. There's a first down run for Lakeside up the middle. Good yardage out to the 34-yard line, gain of 3. That was Slaughter Dominic on the carry for Lakeside.
Joe Thomas wrapping him up along with some other Colts.
I think you said Elmwood beat.
Yes, 46-0.
They beat Lakeside last week. So both of these teams played teams from Rogers a week ago. 2nd down and 7. Lakeside needs to get to the 41-yard line. Pass left side is caught, and that's near first down yardage. It was Damian Shepard on the reception. Trenton Sizemore, the quarterback for Lakeside. And as a 7-yard gain, will give him a first down. Nice start here for Lakeside.
Yeah. Don't look like a team that got blanked last week.
I remember right, Shepard was playing quarterback for them a year ago. And a receiver here tonight. Sizemore keeps it. There is a flag on the field, and he's going to be taken down back in the backfield at the 40-yard line. Let's see what the flag is. That was Charlie Garton on the tackle. You're going to be hearing his name a lot if you haven't watched Woodland before. It's an illegal shift. The penalty was declined by Woodland. It's a 1-yard loss, and so instead of 1st and 15, Woodland is comfortable with this 2nd down and 11.
Love the way the Colts just swarmed to the football.
Oh, Woodland's offsides, and now we're going to get some penalty yardage going the other way.
Yeah.
Both of Woodland's outside linebackers bit hard on the play fake. I'm sorry, on the hard count by Sizemore. That was Kilpatrick coming across. Also coming across was Joe Thomas, and so it's now 2nd down and 6. Lakeside at its own 45-yard line needs to get to the Woodland 49. 6:20 to play in the first quarter. 8-minute quarters here in the 8th grade games. High snap. Sizemore throws to the right side. That's off the receiver's fingertips. It was a forward pass. Kilpatrick was smart to go and pick that up, and 3rd down and 6. I've been really impressed with Caden on both sides of the ball. He's got good instincts. He understands the game. You know, we've seen him do things where It might just be keeping the ball in bounds. I mean, just little things like that really add up. And, his coaches love to see that too.
Oh, no question about it.
3rd down and 6. Lakeside needs to get to the Woodland 49. Sizemore is in the shotgun. He's got a tight end to his right, 2 receivers that direction. They give it on 3rd down, and it's going to be a loss of a yard. Joe Thomas in on the tackle that time for Woodland. Also Noah Young. Dominic is going to be taken down for a loss of a yard back at the 44, and now it's 4th down.
And all indications they're going for it.
4th and 7. They've got 3 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. That's the near side of the field for Sizemore. Hard count. Now they look toward the sideline. 11 on the play clock. And now he's going to back up, but they're not going to get the ball off in time. It's going to be a delay of game, and that's going to push Lakeside back 5 yards. So they're going to pooch punt with Sizemore. And so that'll move the ball back to the 39-yard line.
It's got to be tough for those offensive linemen to hold that pose for that long.
Especially in this heat.
Yeah.
You talk about cramps, and you can certainly get the cramping on a night like tonight, doing something like that. Well, the lineup in the shotgun again, but now Sizemore steps back. This will be pooch punt time. Young may have gotten a piece of that for Woodland. Garton gets away from it, and it's going to take a Lakeside roll inside the 30-yard line. It'll be downed at the 29. Looked like Noah Young came across and just got a fingertip on it.
I believe he did.
Not a bad punt given the circumstances for Sizemore. Woodland will start with 5:06 to play in the first quarter. This offense, I think to say it was humming would be an understatement last week. I mean, they were really moving the ball up and down the field in Rogers. Kilpatrick and Garton, they have been a great combination for 2 seasons here. We're early into their 2nd season for Woodland. Kilpatrick, the quarterback, wears number 9. Garton's his running back, number 8. They'll give it to Garton. 1st down. Reverses his field, runs right side, stiff arms, breaks the tackle at the 30. And he's pulled down by his face mask back at the 29-yard line. It'll go down as a gain of a yard, but he'll get 15 tacked on to the end of it. That penalty was against Jesus Barroso. And this will put Woodland out near midfield.
Well, they are going to mark it off, right? Okay, there we go. Yeah, he turned to the official and said, "You got the face mask."
You know
right?
what? They're going to say this is a 5-yard penalty.
Ooh, you don't know about that.
Wow. Okay. I think that was 15, but
yeah, I mean that's how he tackled it.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be 1st down and 4. They'll mark the ball at the 34-yard line. Woodland needs to get to the 38. Clock runs. 4:42 to play first quarter. Kilpatrick is the quarterback. 1st and short. He's throwing deep. He's got a receiver, but he overthrew him by a good bit. That was Kean Mosley, who got behind the Lakeside defense, and Garton was out there on his own on a wheel route too. We commented last week about how Kilpatrick had better touch on his passes than what we had remembered a year ago, but he overthrew his receiver by quite a bit. 2nd and 4. This is going to be a false start. James Nolan, the slot receiver on the left side of the formation, took off too early. And so the penalty yardage that Woodland got a moment ago is going to be negated due to that penalty. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Colts back at their own 29-yard line. Lakeside runs a defensive tackle onto the field late. Kilpatrick now has a couple of receivers in motion, and Lots of confusion, and Lakeside's going to take a timeout.
Yeah, Woodland couldn't quite get lined up the way they wanted to. The coaches were screaming at them to get in certain positions that the players weren't in, and so Coach Crockett and his staff just thought, well, let's just go ahead and take a timeout and tell them what we need to tell them. And they are, as you can see, coaching them up on where to be.
Now, if memory serves, when these two teams met a year ago as 7th graders, it was a pretty close game down at Harmon. I think Fayetteville might have won 6-0.
Yeah, it was close. It was a tough game.
You know what? I think it was 6-0 when they played Central, but I think it was a low-scoring game for this one too. Remember that 7th grade team? I think they're the ones who didn't allow a point until maybe the Ramey game in the 4th game. All right, 2nd down and 9 after all that from the 29-yard line. Kilpatrick, the quarterback, gives it near the 1st down. That's Mikish on the carry. They'll mark him at the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Gain of 8 on the play. 3rd down and 1 for the Colts. Ball spotted at their own 37-yard line.
A long one.
Woodland needs to get to its 38 on 3rd and 1. Kilpatrick in kind of a pistol formation. They'll give it to Mikish again. 1st down yardage across the 40, but a flag's on the field. Across midfield at the 40, the 35, 30, the 20, the 10, and he'll take this one for a touchdown, but I think it's going to come back.
Yeah, a hold.
It is a hold against the Colts, and that will wipe off the 62-yard touchdown run by Griffin.
Repeat 3rd down.
And it'll be 3rd down again, and instead of 3rd and 1, it's going to be 3rd and long.
That's a shame. That was a really nice run.
Everybody's going to get a workout here because that's basically a couple of 60-yard sprints they just ran.
Yeah.
They're going to move the ball all the way back to the 29-yard line, so it's going to be
After the penalty,
3rd down and 9.
Colts ball spotted at their own 29-yard line.
Garton's going to come in and line up at running back. They also bring in Cade Hancock, the receiver. Feels like we kind of been stuck on the 29-yard line for a while. Woodland needs to get to the 38 on 3rd down. Kilpatrick looking left side. He's got Jones behind the defense, and Jones goes up and makes a great catch. Inside the 45 down to the 43-yard line. Brody Jones, who had the long touchdown reception last week, gets 28 on this one. Great job just high pointing the football.
No doubt about it. Just went up and defender right on him, pulled it in and made the catch.
So 1st down for Woodland after a really long first confusion. So 2:36 to play. We want to remind you that tomorrow night, Fayetteville High School will be at Harmon Field to host the North Little Rock Charging Wildcats. Big 7A game. Maybe the biggest game in the state in 7A.
Well, I think so, yeah. That's what the paper said.
Yeah. Fayetteville's played in some real high-profile games here early this year. They played Conway. You could make an argument that that was the biggest game in 7A in week 1. Of course, last week went over to Oklahoma and lost to number 2 Owasso. And a really, really great matchup that I think Fayetteville's coaches and players are really kicking themselves thinking they had a chance to win. They didn't play a very good first half and had some special teams mistakes after halftime that really hurt them.
Yeah, dominated the second half. Yeah. Very entertaining ball game.
North Little Rock beat Springdale Harbor 58-28 last week. And would you believe that Harbor led that game at one point 21-17 in the second quarter? First down here for Kilpatrick and the Woodland offense. Gives it to Garton, and he's hitting the backfield and taken down for a loss. That was Jesus Barroso.
Boy, he just
Let me say that again.
hog-tied him.
But Barroso. Barroso with the tackle. 3-yard loss on the play back to the 46. Mentioned that North Little Rock led Harbor. They beat them by 30, but they were actually trailing by 4. I mean, it was like almost in the snap of a finger. They reeled off like 41 points in a row.
Wow. And that was their first game of the year.
Second and 13. Run up the middle, pushes the pile forward out near the 40-yard line. And that was Rico Johnson, I believe, on the carry.
Yes. Nice.
Got the lost yardage back. 5-yard gain, and now it'll be 3rd down and 8 for Woodland. 1:34 to play in the first quarter.
Did a nice job of moving the pile.
Gain of 5, 3rd down and 8 for the Colts. Ball spotted at the goal.
2 receivers to either side. Johnson's the tailback for Kilpatrick here on 3rd down. Caden looks over the middle. The pass is incomplete off the hands of the intended receiver. That was Kean Mosley.
The pass intended for
Now Woodland's got a decision to make with 1:14 to play in the quarter.
And it looks like
Right side, that's the open side of the field. Receiver lined up to the left in the boundary. On 4th down, Kilpatrick steps back, throws, tries to set up a screen across the 40, inside the 35 to the 32-yard line. Jordan Logue on the reception that time for the Colts. And they needed 8 yards, and they got 9.
very well executed.
He makes it to the line to gain 1st and 10 for the Colts. Ball spotted at the goal.
50 seconds, clock runs, first quarter. Woodland with a really interesting drive here, I think you would say.
Fair description.
I mean, it's been a lot of back and forth. Penalties, lost yardage, big plays. Here's Micus. He had a big touchdown run called off a moment ago. Runs into Jesus Barroso, taken down at the line of scrimmage. 22 seconds left. Woodland doesn't have to snap it again in this quarter if it doesn't want to.
No gain on the play.
And it doesn't look like Coach Crockett
Yeah.
has any desire to snap the ball again in the first quarter. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. The clock is going to run out on a scoreless first quarter from Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium.
That's the end of the
We'll be
first
back
quarter
with the
of
second
play.
quarter in a moment.
No
This
score
is Woodland
as we
Colt
head to the
football.
second quarter.
Ready to start the second quarter here in Springdale. Woodland and at no score apiece, but the Colts have the ball on the Lakeside side of the field. It'll be 2nd down and 10 when play resumes from the Lakeside 32. Caden Kilpatrick, Charlie Garton back out on the field together here for the 2nd down.
2nd and 10 for the Colts.
Still a little bit of daylight peeking through, but the lights are providing most of the light on the field. Kilpatrick on 2nd down gives a hesitation, throws toward the end zone and just overthrows his intended receiver.
Intended for James Nolan is incomplete. Brings
Nolan
up
was the intended receiver, and that'll be 3rd down and 10.
He had his defender beat. But the pass just a little bit over his head. much more physical up front tonight than it was last week.
Woodland needs to get to the 22-yard line here on this 3rd down and 10. They took Garton off the field, brought Johnson on, and then changed him late. Garton lined up behind Kilpatrick. It's a high snap. Garton bounces off a tackler, but then he falls down at the 30 after a gain of 2, and now it'll be 4th down. And you got to believe Woodland's going to go for it here.
Leviticus with the tackle.
Yeah.
It was Leviticus on the tackle for Lakeside.
Ball spotted at the 30-yard line.
Ball's at the 30, 4th down and 8. Johnson's in as a tailback here on this 4th down play. 2 receivers to either side of Kilpatrick. Clock runs, 7:22 to play for in the 2nd quarter. 4th down. Kilpatrick tries to roll away and buy some time. Throws. He's got a player, and that's a 1st down, but there is a flag on the field. Lowe caught it at the 13-yard line, but there is a flag on the field, and you almost wonder if it's an illegal lineman downfield with as long as it took Caden Kilpatrick to get rid of the ball.
Yep, you're correct.
Yep. An eligible receiver downfield. The lineman went too far past the line of scrimmage, and now it's going to be 4th down and really long for this Colt offense. Credit Kilpatrick for buying time, and credit Logue for getting open. Not that it would have mattered, but a better pass, Logue would have walked in. There wasn't anybody within about 10 yards of him.
Yeah, Caden did a really nice job of eluding the rush, keeping the play alive.
So that moves the ball back to the 35-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 13 from there. Tight set here with 4 receivers. Kilpatrick tried to give it to Jones on a sweep. Jones dropped it, now throws it back to Kilpatrick. Caden might make something of it here at the 35, the 30. He's got a 1st down across the 20, the 15, the 10. Have you ever seen anything like that? Touchdown, Woodland.
Just how they drew it up. How about that?
Brody Jones and Caden Kilpatrick had exchange issues. Jones picked it up, lateraled it back to Kilpatrick, and he ran it in from about 40 yards out.
Sandlot football.
Yes, absolutely.
But it works.
It'll go down as a 35-yard touchdown run, but it was much more than that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And now we didn't see Woodland do this last week. They're going to try a PAT. Emerson Early is the kicker. Put it on the tee, and he knocks it through. And so with 6:51 to play in the 2nd quarter, Woodland, with maybe their offensive play of the year in game number 2, has taken a 7-0 lead over Lakeside. This is Woodland Colt football. After some improv football between Brody Jones and Caden Kilpatrick. Emerson Early kicks this off. It's going to be fielded by an upman at the 35-yard line and out over the 40 to the 41. I don't know if he's ever carried the ball before in his life. It was Jones, an offensive lineman, who handled it, showed worth, and he just kind of lumbered forward for 6 yards.
He was determined. He was going to run with it. He was going to run over, got in front of.
You usually have about 3 or 4 levels of upbacks on kickoff returns like that, and That was the first level. He's in there for blocking, not for returning. Sizemore gives it to Dominic, falls forward for a couple. It'll be second and long.
Colts doing a good job of.
There's Atticus Nihus on the tack. Two receivers to his left. One good pursuit that time by the defense. Ethan Moore, one of a couple of players in the tackle. And that'll be third down long for Lakeside. The Golden Eagles need to get to the Woodland 49-yard line.
Similar in the 7th grade game where the guard was pulling and that's where the running back would go. That's what they did the last 2 times.
Third down. Sizemore being pressured by LeBlanc. Throws it. It's intercepted at the 44-yard line. Back across midfield. The 45 of Lakeside out of bounds at the 40 after a return of 16 yards. It was Cole Mobley, on the return. And Woodland is set up with great field position with 5:17 to go before the half.
Good play. Good play by the defense.
LeBlanc maybe forced him to throw it quicker than he wanted, and he just kind of floated it up there. It was an easy catch for Mobley.
Yeah, he was bearing down on the quarterback, and he knew he had limited time, so he kind of forced it a little bit, but the defense sets up the offense with great field position.
Kilpatrick, the quarterback, he had the touchdown run a moment ago. Garton stands behind him, trips right. Off the right hash. They give it to Garton, run right. Across the 35, Charlie's at the 30, the 25, lowers his head and is taken out of bounds up near the 20-yard line.
Nice run.
Mark him down at the 21. It's a gain of 19 on first down. And that'll move the chains. Clock stops with 4:44 to play before halftime. Felt like a little bit of a feeling out process between these two teams for the first 6 or 7 minutes, but Woodland's really looked good here over the last 4 or 5.
Graham Palmer came out. Looked like he's kind of shaking his leg. Was it a cramp or what?
Trips right again. Garton lines up behind Kilpatrick, takes it right side across the 20, bounces off a tackler. Flag is out. Stutter steps and steps out of bounds at the 14, but this one might come back after a gain of 7.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold. So
waiting for the official call, and it is a hold.
Holding against the Colts carries a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
So after they mark off the penalty yardage, it puts the ball back at the 29-yard line.
I don't think the Woodland coaches were real sold on that call.
It'll be first down and 18. They need it to the 11. High snap. Garton takes it across the 25. Breaks a tackle at the 20. He's at the 15. Falls forward, and he's near the first down marker.
Great run. Patient. He's not trying to force anything. He's just kind of stop and hesitates.
Gain of 15 that time. Clock runs inside of 4 minutes. Comes in to replace Garton on second down and 3. Kilpatrick gives it right side, and there's nothing there. Taken down in the backfield, a loss of 3. Back to the 17-yard line. It'll be third down.
Yeah, they blew up that right side of the line that time and just not able to get a hold there.
Jackson Watson and Derek Jones make the tackle.
A lot of room to the left. We'll see if they run to the wide side this time.
Ball spotted at the Golden Eagle 17-yard line.
Woodland needs to get to the 11 on third down. Looking left side for Logue, pulls it in, first down yardage inside the 5, and he falls forward near the 3. Jordan Logue did a nice job of kind of been the guy that Kilpatrick looks for on these third down.
The possession receiver, if you will, did a nice job of holding on to it. Now this opens up the playbook. They can do a lot of different things here in short yardage.
1st and goal. Johnson comes in as the tailback. He'll get it, and he'll take it in. 3-yard touchdown run for Rico Johnson.
With a 4-yard run for score.
And the Colts have gone ahead by 2 scores here with 2:33 to play before halftime.
Some breathing room. Nice drive. Ran some clock.
Young will snap. Mobley will hold, and Early will attempt the PAT here. Trying to give Woodland a 14-point lead. And that kick is right down the middle. And so with 2:33 to play before halftime, the new score, Woodland 14, Lakeside nothing. This is Woodland Colt football. Touchdown run by Rico Johnson.
Like to get a stop here, keep this momentum going, take it into the locker room at halftime.
Sizemore is the quarterback, number 10. And now there's a whistle before the snap. And that might be a delay of game. It is.
Again, the play clocks are on, but they're not operating them for whatever reason tonight.
Keeping the time on the field for sure, because we've seen a couple of delay of game calls. On 1st down, this looks like a broken play. Sizemore being pressured from behind, and he is sandwiched back at the 25-yard line. Big loss that time, loss of 5. After the 5-yard penalty, now it's going to be 2nd down and 20.
5 Colts surrounding him. There was for him to go. Now you kind of wonder if you maybe get an opportunity to get the ball back here before halftime.
Yeah, Woodland's got 2 timeouts.
If the scoreboard's correct.
2nd and 20, minute and a half to play before halftime. Sizemore with 4 receivers. Throws, that pass is batted down. It's incomplete. It was a forward pass. It was, trying to see who that was.
Ethan Moore.
It was Moore, the linebacker, coming through and batted it down. That's the play, and now it's 3rd down and long.
You know, if he
Ball back here.
If he could have tipped that up just a little higher, he might have had time to grab it. He was coming in fast on the quarterback.
3rd and 20. Lakeside needs to get to its own 45-yard line. Yeah, believing an incomplete pass.
Oh,
Pass and
my.
and Woodland's.
No.
Well,
Yes.
I think Woodland's got it at the 11-yard line. They tried a push pass, and the Colts came away with it.
Joe Thomas.
As Joe Thomas, number 55, got it.
He had it and then lost it and then got it right back. And timeout Woodland with 1:16 to go and the ball at the Lakeside 11.
Couldn't draw it up any better than that.
Timeout called by the Colts. Their second charge of the first half.
Kind of interesting. Timeout. Normally it's the defense that will take a timeout in that situation. Well, they blew that up from the beginning. They, a little trickeration, and the Colts were ready for it. And Sonora was not quite ready for that kind of defensive pressure, and they turned it over. It's a long timeout.
There'll be a minute 16 left when play resumes. A second came off, and they're not going to put it back on. It'll be interesting. Receivers, two to either side. Garton, they throw over the middle. That pass is in, complete. He led Brody Jones. Jones got his fingertips on it because if he didn't, there was a Lakeside defender waiting.
And thankfully, he wasn't anticipating.
Minute and 10 to play before halftime. Woodland leading 14-0, trying to add to that lead with a second down and 15 from the Lakeside 16-yard line. Kilpatrick will give it to Garton. Lakeside read that well, but Garton bounces outside. He's across the 10. Charlie Garton lowers his shoulder and goes out of bounds up near the 5-yard.
Pretty
so
impressive.
hard to bring down. Lakeside, I don't know if they could have played that any better up the middle, but he was still able to bounce outside.
Looked like he was going to lose yardage. And he got to the edge and then was able to get to the 6.
10-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Woodland's found itself in a lot of 3rd down situations here in this half. It hasn't been easy going as it was a week ago up in Rogers. 3 receivers to the left side. Micah on 3rd down. 1:01 to play before touchdown Woodland. Caden Kilpatrick goes in from 6 yards out. Pending.
Really nice play call there. That was a quarterback run the whole way. He just hesitated, waited, and then clear into the end zone.
All right, Noah Young will snap. Cole Mobley will hold Emerson early on to attempt his 3rd extra point of the half. Good snap, good hold. For halftime, the new score, Woodland 21. This is
Early set to kick for the Colts.
back in. So would have taken some hurricane force winds maybe to send that ball back to Emma. Be interesting to see what Lakeside does here with 50 seconds to play in the half. They trailed 21-0. Sizemore, the quarterback. Slaughter Dominic is his running back. The clock has started, so there's 31 seconds and counting here before halftime. Lakeside may only have to run one play. They run up the middle, and Woodland waiting for them. The tackle that time was Boston Turner, and now there's 14 seconds, 13 seconds. Lakeside doesn't have to snap it again. And I don't think they're going to be able to. 2 seconds, 1 second, and it's halftime in Springdale. Took a few minutes for Woodland to get going, but 21 points in the second quarter, and the Colts lead Lakeside 21-0 at halftime. It'll be a 10-minute halftime. We'll be back for the start of the third quarter in a few moments.